Welcome back to the Footy Talk Show. It's been a little minute. It's been about 5 or 6 days since we last recorded, and I'm buzzing for this. I'm buzzing. Welcome in AGN Entertainment. Adam, how are you, my brother?
I'm equally buzzing, bro. Absolutely ready to go.
Yeah, that's the one, brother. That's the one. So basically today, people, what we are doing, we are talking about the England game, what's just come by. Obviously the quarterfinals, and then we're going to move on over to the semis and do a predicted lineup, what we think Southgate will put out, and then maybe even what we think. Right, so we're going to start off by saying Saka, my star boy. Saka, the boy, stepped up to the mark. He started cooking the sauce, the Saka sauce, shutting up all the haters. All the haters, come at me now. Come at me now. Everyone in the comments, comment. If you give me all that Saka hate, all of my TikTok lives and everything, yeah, I'm here now, live in the flesh. Let me know what you are thinking. Let me know what you are thinking. I'm here for it. And I love Saka. I'm a proud father at the moment. I am literally a proud father. I'm so happy for him, Adam. Adam, what you thinking? Saka.
Oh, absolutely immense. Absolutely immense. What a goal.
Yeah.
Absolutely similar goal to that Man United goal that he scored in that 3-2 as well, Jamie.
Yeah, it was,
Carbon
yeah.
copy of that finish.
Yeah.
And then to step up and take a penalty, ice cool, especially after the last Euros, all of the hatred he got, all of the despicable things that were said and
Yeah.
done by various people. He was absolutely phenomenal, and he has been by far, for me, the best player in England's squad in this
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah. Do you know what was annoying me, Adam? Yeah. So
Mm,
you know how all these people they're calling for him to be dropped and that, yeah.
yeah.
And you've probably seen it on my lives, you've seen it on my comments, because obviously I'm on TikTok. I've got quite a bit of a following over there where I get a lot of people commenting. And with the Saka hate, well, not really Saka hate, they were criticising him. I can't say Saka hate. I'm going to touch on one thing, yeah, as well, actually. Adam, you know this.
Mm,
For just for some retrospective for people, yeah. I did a TikTok live 2 days ago. 2 days ago. And I got a 24-hour ban. And I'm going to let you people know why I got a 24-hour ban. I got banned off TikTok for 24 hours because I had people coming in. I had a picture of Saka as the background doing the celebration like this, yeah. And I had multiple accounts coming in saying racial abuse. I'm not going to say exactly what they were. They were racial abuse, and I stood up to them. I stood up to them because you've got to stand up to racism. You don't ignore it. You stand up to it, because if you sit and ignore it, yeah, you're as worse as what they are, because you're not standing up to it. It's never going to be solved, because there will always be people what are stupid and that they racially abuse people, yeah. But in my life it happened, and it happens quite often in my lives, and I stood up to it, and I got a 24-hour ban for standing up to people racially abusing Bukayo Saka. We need to cut it out of the game. It needs to be gone. I stand up to racism. That's what I do on my end. I will always stand up for them. I will always stand up. I will always stand up, because it is absolutely vile. It's disgusting. And if you were watching it and you're racist, mate, don't even watch me. I want you out of here. I don't want you anywhere near my channel if you're racist. But everyone else, I love you to bits. But yeah, so that's what's happened. That's why I've come in and started going Saka, Saka, because of all the abuse he's been getting on my lives. Some people were criticising, him, saying he should be dropped. Where I thought even in the games before, he was our only threat. He was our only threat in the games before. And I said it on the podcast, on our previous podcast, haven't I, Adam? I said
yeah.
that he was our only threat. And now that he's scored that goal, people want to realise how much of a threat he's been. They'll say, oh yeah, he scored that goal. Where he has been a threat all the other games. He has been, and people just don't want to see it. He's attempted 22 dribbles, 59% completed, the highest in the whole tournament, more than any other player. So everyone goes Lamine Yamal, Jamal Musiala, Florian Wirtz, all these players. Saka's dribbled past more players than all of them. All of them. And people keep saying he plays backwards when he doesn't. He doesn't. That is Southgate's tactic. That is Southgate's tactic. Bukayo Saka for Arsenal, as soon as he gets the ball, he runs at a man. That's what he does at Arsenal. And that's what we know about Bukayo Saka. So I'm glad I just got that out of the way, people. I came here. I'm
Mm.
just venting. I am venting. We all know me. When I got something on my mind, I have to say it. So it went to penalties. We'll start off with the first half. What's your thoughts on the first half, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I think we started slowly, like we have done in so many of the games in this tournament so far. I think we were pretty poor, really, to be honest with you. I
Yeah,
can't, I can't deny it, despite the fact that everybody is over the moon, and the morale of the English fan base right now could not be higher. We have
yeah,
to talk about facts, and the facts were we started very, very poorly to me. Um, it was much the same, really. It was a similar sort of pattern that we've seen in other games.
yeah,
First half was a bit scrappy, a bit bitty, and it looked like both teams were sort of kind of feeling each other out a little bit, in these sort of games where both teams are trying to work each other out in terms of the tactical side. In fairness, Switzerland were not as good in this game as they were against the Italians. They looked like they had gone down a gear, not up a gear. And it was pretty cagey, really. It was a pretty cagey first half. And really, I was thinking we need to score the first goal in the second half. And well, I'm sure we'll come on to the second half in a minute, but
yeah.
obviously that was not how it went.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you. It was a very, very cagey affair in the first half. So Gareth Gareth Southgate went in with a 3-5-2 where we played Jordan Pickford, we had Konsa, we had Kyle Walker, and we had John Stones. We had Bukayo Saka at right wing back. Right wing
Mm,
back, wasn't it? Yeah. Left
mm,
wing back, we had Kieran Trippier. And then through the middle, we had Declan Rice and we had Kobe Mainu. And then we had
mm,
Jude Bellingham, we had Phil Foden. Right, and then up front was Harry Kane. Um, but yeah, it was a very, very cagey first half. Try to suss each other out, just like you said. They didn't look too great. We didn't look too great.
mm,
And then that's really how you sum up that first half. Really, it was a tight, cagey affair. We played backwards. Like it looked like how we've been playing. And then we'll move on over to the second half. Switzerland started to take over. I think in that second half, they looked like the better side in the second half and their goal. They were dominant. I don't know if people seen this, but they looked like they were going to score a lot more likely than we were. That's what I thought.
mm.
I thought we were on the ropes a couple of times in that second half, and then they scored that goal. Was it Endoy who scored? No, it
Mbola.
was Breland Bolo. Breland Bolo, yeah, he's a ex football manager legend. Breland Bolo. I always used to sign Breland Bolo on Football Manager. But yeah, so Breland Bolo scored, and then in the 79th minute, Bukayo Saka got one back. Didn't he? It was the 79th minute,
Mm,
and oh, like you said, that finish, it's very, very Bukayo Saka esque finish.
yeah,
He either cuts in and hits that bottom corner,
yeah,
or he cuts in and hits the top corner on that left hand side. He loves that finish, and it's kind of like Iron Robin. When Iron Robin,
mm,
you know he's going to do it, but you can't stop
mm,
him from doing it. And what it is, people, when we say world class players, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to put him on the world class spectrum just yet, but world class players have clutch moments. They have clutch moments. There it is. There's your clutch moment. Hang it up on the mantelpiece. Hang it up wherever you want in the loaf, wherever you want. That was Bukayo Saka's redemption. That was his redemption. That was his moment
yeah,
where previously, like people like, oh, he's not playing that well, like I've touched on. That was his
mm,
moment. That was his moment for me.
yeah,
But yeah, that switched the game on its head, and then
yeah,
we looked a lot better as soon as we got that goal. We
mm,
looked like a lot better side. We started to play. We started to switch gears, and a lot of the
yeah.
substitutions did help with that. Completely
Mhm.
agree. What's your thinking on that second half, brother?
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Jamie. I think, to be honest with you, Switzerland started to take control, and then they looked to me to be the most likely side to score that first goal.
Yeah,
Do you remember when a few seasons ago, Arsenal always used to come out when they were scored against? So they go 1-0 down and then suddenly would play their best football.
yeah,
Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I think that's where England are at the moment. It's almost like they have to go down to get themselves back up and to produce their best form. And I think the reason for this is obviously the pragmatic nature that we're playing at the moment on a tactical level by Southgate. It's almost like we're scared not to make too many errors or to, leave ourselves too exposed, but we end up going down anyway. And that's what
Yeah,
happened. Switzerland, it was a very good goal, very well worked move. And Mbolo obviously tucked it away, couldn't really miss. And then suddenly things shifted, and it was like we had 15 minutes, just under 15 minutes to get ourselves back in the game to avoid going out of the tournament.
yeah,
And suddenly something just clicked. We changed gear, substitutions came on. Those attacking substitutions were made. The likes of obviously Cole Palmer.
yeah,
Later in the day, we obviously saw Tony. He came on. What a penalty that was! Honestly, unbelievable.
yeah,
Ice cool. These attacking substitutions, Luke Shaw. The people that we've been calling out for. Gareth at that point just thinks, well, we've got to go for it.
yeah,
And lo and behold, when you go for it, you produce your best football. And that's why I think so many people throughout the course of this tournament have been so frustrated
yeah,
because we just want to see that at 0-0. Why do we have to go 1-0 down to produce that? The Saka goal, absolutely phenomenal, Jamie, absolutely right. I went to that 3-2 game against Manchester United. It's a special game for me because it was one of the last games I went to with my dad.
yeah,
And it was just an incredible goal. And it was so similar. Even when it
yeah,
went into the back of the net, I was texting fellow Arsenal mates of mine, just saying, wasn't that just a carbon copy of the goal he scored against United? And they're coming
yeah.
back saying, absolutely, it was. Absolutely, it was. Phenomenal. Took the chance. Good comparison with Iron Robin because he used to do that for Bayern. He used to be phenomenal at that, cutting in and just
Yeah.
that little bit of space just to maneuver into, just to get that shot away.
He used to do it
Um,
against us quite regularly, mate. You know, when we
he
played
did.
Bayern and they
He did.
absolutely smashed us.
He
Yeah,
did. He did
yeah.
in the Champions League. I remember that goal when they beat us 5-1, I think it was.
Yeah, it was 5-1 and then 5-1 the next leg afterwards, weren't it?
It was. It was.
10-2 on aggregate, weren't it?
Sore memories aside,
Very short
he
memories.
was a phenomenal player, wasn't he? But
Yeah.
Saka is really producing. Um, he's producing great moments, and I think
Hmm.
just going back to what you said at the start of the show, people need to absolutely respect this man. He's still such a young man. He's got boundless talent. He's going to be one of the greatest players of all time. I've got no doubt about that. We've spoken off camera about everybody saying, "Oh, you're just Arsenal fans. You're biased." No, it's just complete nonsense.
Yeah.
This young man is showing the strength and the courage and the conviction to step up and take a penalty, and he knows that the pressure is on him after Euro 2020 and all the ridiculous, hateful abuse he got, which was absolutely disgraceful. And might I add, it was absolutely disgraceful that you got banned for standing up
Yeah.
for what is right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you a lot of credit, Jamie, because we need to stand up for what is right, no matter what.
Yeah.
Um, and you rightly, well, as you know, I sort of called you straight away, and I said I was absolutely outraged. So I just wanted to get that in there as well,
Yeah.
because I didn't comment on that earlier. But I just wanted to say that. But Saka was immense. We shifted gears at that point. I'm going to ask you what you think because I felt that in extra time it shifted back again a little bit, where we sort of stepped back again.
Completely
And it
agree.
was a bit of yeah, it was a bit of a shame to see that because in that last 10 minutes we were pushing, and I thought we'll win. I thought we're going to win in normal time here. We're going to win 2-1.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. We went to extra time, and I thought we're in the ascendancy here. Again, didn't happen. We did the same as what we did against the Slovakians. We stepped back and we thought, yeah. And by the end, Switzerland had a few dangerous moments and actually could have scored a winner. I was a bit nervous, 118, 119. You're thinking, don't concede here. Anyway, we got to penalties, and the penalties were phenomenal. Just no better. Could not have taken a better set of penalties than that.
No, I completely agree. That extra time, when Saka scored that goal, like we just touched on, that we did come out, but I do think that it is Southgate setting up for tournament football, where you
Mm,
sit back, you don't concede, and you score.
mm,
I think that's
mm,
what he's going for, and that's why it's taking us
mm,
to them to score for us to come out of the traps. Just
mm,
like you said, I do think that's why he's kind of doing it. So in the group stage, I wondered why we weren't just going for it. But in the knockout phases, I can't really blame him because all it takes is you coming out the traps, they get 2 goals, and that's it. It's game over. It's game over. You can always come back from a 1-0. You can always come back from a 1-0. But we are the more dominant side. We should be going out there and doing bits. So he is playing very, very defensive, but it is working. It is
Hmm.
working. No matter what we say, it is working. We're through to a
Yeah.
semi-finals. We've got to the Euros finals. It is working, and now we go to play against a tough Netherlands side. But the extra time, you are completely right. They put the pressure on. They come back at us. We sat in our shell a little bit. That's what I kind of think. We did sit in our shell, and we were lucky to go to penalties. To be honest with you, we were lucky to go to penalties, but we got to penalties. And I know I'm going to touch on Bukayo Saka one more time here, but
Mm.
for him, the cojones that boy has, yeah,
Yeah.
the cojones that boy has, yeah. Because you remember
Yeah.
that last Euros, the abuse he
Yeah.
got. We all
Yeah.
seen it happen. People keep
Yeah.
saying it's a small minority. It was not a small
Mm.
minority. It was not.
Mm.
What a load of total utter bullshit. I'm going to put
Mm.
that out there. Absolute bullshit when people keep commenting that. Because
Yep.
when you go across any ground, like I've touched on before and spoke when I went to the Villa ground, and he got
Yep.
racially abused there while I was sat there. He gets
Mm.
booed every single game he goes to. When the
Mm.
Tottenham fans, when we played against Tottenham, and then he put that corner in, yeah, and we scored, and they
Mm.
were going to him, "You let your country down. You let
Mm.
your country down." That's part
Mm.
of it. That is part
Mm.
of it. It's not racial abuse, but it is part of it. It's
Yeah.
part of it. You let your country down, and he stepped up. His
Yeah.
cojones. I know I'm waffling on a little bit here, people, but his cojones to go take a penalty. Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pull up a fact for you as well, people. Bukayo Saka's 22 years old. He's
Mm.
England's ninth leading scorer in tournament football history. Ninth leading scorer at
Yeah.
22 years old in in England tournament finals histories. In the
Mm.
history of tournament finals. That's
Mm.
over the whole 150 odd years that England been playing tournament football.
Yeah.
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 He is the ninth leading scorer. Kane's 10. Saka's got 4. The likes of like Lampard and stuff are all on 5. Gary Lineker's got 7. He's 3
Mm.
goals off Gary Lineker at 22
Mm.
years old. I
Yeah.
think Wayne Rooney. I think Wayne
It's
Rooney got like
unbelievable.
5 or 6. I don't quote me on it, but I do know that he was ninth when I seen the list.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's there with the big boys already at 22 years old, man.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
am going to touch on the penalties. My favourite was Alexander Arnold's penalty, that pressure penalty to win it. And he
Mm.
just smashed it in the top bins. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, like he's got some cojones as well. But even
Yeah.
Ivan Tony's one as well.
Oh.
Wow, what I love Ivan Tony, I do. I love him.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Absolutely
a
brilliant.
kick in the ballpark with the boys, as Tony says. As Tony says. But yeah, it was them penalties, them 5 set of penalties are the best 5 set of penalties I have ever witnessed.
Yes.
Ever witnessed.
Yes.
Are
Absolutely.
you in agreement with that, bro?
Oh, completely. I mean, there isn't a penalty of those 5 that you could criticize in any way, shape, or form.
No,
None of them were close to being saved.
no.
I know with Tony's, the goalie went the right way, but he was still miles off saving it.
Yeah.
And I saw Tony interviewed after the game, and the interviewer goes, "You didn't look at the ball," and he said, "Well, that's just part of my normal routine. I never look at the ball."
Yeah, he never does, no.
And the interviewer goes, "Yeah, but obviously it's a quarter final of the Euros. It's a very risky strategy." And Tony just sort of looks at him and just goes,
Yeah. Go on, Tony. Go on, Tony,
"Confidence,
man. Yeah.
absolutely love it, absolutely love
Yeah,
it."
the
And I think he's
confidence
got
on
a
the
real
boy.
shout to start in the next game. But anyway, that's another point for later in the show. But
Yeah.
I thought those penalties were phenomenal. Cole Palmer taking that first
Yeah.
penalty.
Yeah.
Um,
Fair play to him.
Yeah, I mean, I said I was watching it, and I said he's not going to miss this. I don't think Cole Palmer's actually missed a penalty in his whole career,
No, no.
so it's a
Great
pretty
penalty
good
taker.
record.
Great penalty taker.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Did he look nervous for a second? He didn't.
No, no,
He
no.
really didn't. He
And
didn't
and
look
and neither did
nervous.
Bukayo. So, have you watched
No.
England's interview after they did talk with him and Luke Shaw the next day?
Yeah.
Did you see it? Have you seen that, bro?
I haven't seen it. No,
No.
no.
So basically, they spoke to him and they said they touched on about the penalty miss, and then
Mm.
how did you feel going up to it? And he goes, it was just routine for me. It was complete routine. He said that people are more nervous about him taking it than
Oh,
he is.
no, I did see it, Jamie. I did
Yeah,
see it. Yes, I did see that interview because he said, didn't he? He said, "Yeah, people are more nervous for me than I
than I
am
am.
when
Yeah.
I'm standing there and taking it." And
I'm in complete
yeah,
agreement. I was so nervous for him when he took
yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's because how much I love him that I
yes,
was so nervous for Bukayo, just because
absolutely
of the
right.
retaliation that would have happened. You think
Yeah,
about it, he played right wing back, yeah? Imagine the
yeah,
retaliation if he would have played poorly at right wing back. If he didn't put in that performance, all we would have heard was Bukayo Saka this, Bukayo Saka that. And
Yeah.
imagine if, brother, imagine if I would have cried if he missed that penalty. I generally
Mm.
probably, I
Mm.
never cry, mate. And I would have had tears in my eyes. I would have cried
Yeah.
if Bukayo Saka
Yeah.
missed that penalty. I really would have.
Yeah.
'Cause I would have felt
Yeah.
so bad for him. I would have felt
Yeah.
so, so bad for him. But I know we keep talking,
Absolutely.
but this was the Bukayo Saka show. That's
It
what that
was.
was.
It absolutely was. Again, it was
Yeah,
it was a moments game, a game of moments where he got us back into the game. And Jamie, I'm going to say this. I don't think there's a stronger character in possibly world football, but definitely English football.
yeah,
Has there been a stronger character? As you rightly said earlier in the show, the abuse he gets, the booing he gets, the
yeah,
hatred he gets from fans,
yeah,
and he goes out there and he steps up every week and puts in these fantastic performances.
yeah.
Even after, obviously, what happened in Euro 2020, he went and became Arsenal's penalty taker.
He did,
And he
yeah.
took some pressure penalties, Jamie,
He
in
did.
some of those games. The
Yeah,
3-2 against Liverpool to win it.
yep, yep,
The penalty he took against Spurs to go 2-1 up.
yep.
He's taken a lot of pressure
Champions
penalties.
League against Porto.
Champions League against Porto.
Yeah,
He is the strongest character, I think, in the world game at the moment for
yeah,
what he's had to deal
yeah.
with
Endure, yeah.
and endure exactly, and the performances he puts in, and also the dignity he shows. He's such a dignified, wonderful young man.
I love
He's
him.
a credit. He's a credit to his
I love him.
country, to his family, to everybody.
Yeah.
Um, and we are very rightly so giving him the praise he deserves, and we're
Hmm.
very proud Arsenal fans. Um, but I think it's time for other fan bases actually to recognise how
Yeah.
wonderful and how lucky we are to
To
have
have
this
him.
guy playing for England.
I completely agree.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree with you anymore. I couldn't agree with you anymore. And do you know what? I'm going to go as far as saying this, yeah. If he sees out his Arsenal career, yeah, he stays with Arsenal, does this for England, yeah. I'm
yeah,
going to say that he will end up being my favourite player of all time
yeah.
because
I
he's
would
already
agree.
nearly up. Thierry Henry is my favourite. Everyone knows I
Mm,
love Thierry so much, yeah.
yes, yeah.
But you know how much I love Thierry. Like I loved him. He's the reason I love Arsenal Football Club. But
Me
I'm going
too.
to put that out there. And Bukayo Saka. When people ask me who's my favourite player, yeah,
Yeah.
before the season ended, it was like Ben White, Declan Rice. It moved around a little bit, like Odegaard. Some
Mm,
games, someone, some games, another person. But
mm,
now I've just watched Bukayo Saka for England and just realised how much I love him. How
yeah,
much I get nervous for him. When he scores, I'm so happy, man. Like I'm just like a proud
yeah,
father. I've got twin girls, and
yeah.
and that feeling when my kids do something that makes me so proud. That's
Mm,
what Bukayo Saka makes me feel like. And I
yes.
don't know why he makes me feel that way. But people, I don't know why people have so much hatred and so much, this limpy Saka and stuff like this. Were they calling him limpy Saka when he was limping off afterwards? He limped off after the penalties, yeah, because he
Yeah,
obviously picked up a little knock or something, yeah. And
yeah.
I didn't see no one commenting limpy Saka then. I
No,
didn't see no one commenting. He is
no.
people. What people don't quite comprehend as well with Bukayo Saka, they say that he's not a big game player yet. He is, man.
Mm.
He's such a clutch player. Bayern
Yep,
Munich. Remember against
yep,
Bayern Munich when it was 0-0? Who
yep,
was the one who stepped up and scored
yep,
straight away against Bayern Munich?
yep,
Clutch player. Against Man
yep.
United, clutch for us. Against Liverpool, clutch
Phenomenal.
for us. Against
Yeah,
Tottenham, clutch for us. He scored against all the big boys. Chelsea, clutch.
yeah.
He's just such a clutch,
He is.
clutch
He
player.
really is. He
Yeah.
really is.
And I
And
don't know why
yeah.
people ain't seeing this. He's just such a clutch player, man. Like
Well,
that's why I love him.
It is strange, Jamie, because also another point as well is his level of humility is
Yeah.
unbelievable. He's such
Oh
a
man.
humble young man and selfless. He's
Yeah.
played at right back, right
Yeah.
wing back. These aren't his positions, and he's
No.
been absolutely phenomenal. He's been absolutely unbelievable. I really do think, and I completely agree with your point. I think if he goes on to finish his career at Arsenal, he'll have a statue outside the stadium, and he
Me
will be
too.
called one of the Arsenal
Great.
greats of all
Yeah.
time. He'll be in the top two or three,
Completely
and
agree.
he would probably be my favorite as well, given that I've seen him at his best. I've seen him dominate. Um, in the same breath as you, I wanted to be Thierry Henry when I played football in the playground when I was younger.
Yeah.
You
Same as
know,
me. Yeah.
that was just he was heroic, wasn't he? I mean, what can you say about him? But Saka has the same air about him.
Yeah.
And I think he'll go on to be just one of the world's best. And I think he's people forget he's 22 years old, not
Yeah.
25, not 26, not 28. He's
Yep.
22.
Isn't he 2 years younger than Phil Foden?
Yeah,
Phil
yeah,
Foden's
he is.
24, isn't he?
He is. He is.
Two
He
years
is.
younger than Phil Foden.
He is, and a worrying trend as well, Jamie. And I'll wait to hear what you say about this. But you and we've been saying throughout this tournament that Phil Foden has been just appalling. His performances have been
Yes,
he's been absolutely abysmal. And look, I know that on a personal level, I think there was some stuff about him going through a difficult time, and obviously, we wish him all the best with all of that.
of course.
However, on a football level, he's been really, really poor,
He's been our worst
and
player.
he's been our worst player. And what worries me is that any sign of discontent in the England side, it's like, oh, Saka's not playing well
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
Where's that been for Foden, Jamie?
No, nowhere, nowhere. On my lives, I drop him on my lives, yeah. So like
Yeah.
everyone knows, like you do lives as well, yeah. But
Yes.
I'm quite on my TikTok lives, people. I don't know if you use it over for my TikTok lives, but this is Jamie Waffles Fit YouTube. But on my TikTok lives, I pull up squad builders and put what we
Mm,
think. Oh, what should we do for the squad? Yeah.
yeah.
And whenever I don't have Phil Foden in the squad, the amount of people give me hate for it, and I'm like, what he's got. But as soon as I put, as soon as I take Saka out, oh, like yeah, Saka deserves to be dropped. Saka deserves to be dropped. And you're like, what? What game are you watching? What are you
Exactly.
actually watching? To
Exactly.
me, to
Exactly.
watch it, it's I don't want to just say this, but a lot of people, it's got to be an agenda. It
Yeah.
has to be an agenda. And do you know what it
Yeah.
is? It has to be because he plays for Arsenal Football Club. It's
Yeah.
got to be that. Or it's the other one, which people are so ashamed to admit. And the one I've already touched on, that's the
Mm,
only other measure that I can see it being.
yeah.
Because
Yes.
to be fair to some people, yeah, to be fair to some people, they've come on my live yesterday, and then they were like, you know what, fair play to Bukayo. I've been saying he hasn't been good this tournament. Wicked, wicked, wicked.
Yes.
I am seeing
Yes.
him for what he is now. It
Yes.
is, it is turning some screws for some people. Where they're
It
like,
is.
you know what, he's England star boy.
He
Like
is.
he
He
generally
is.
is. Like Bellingham has been clutch as well.
Yes.
Bellingham has not been great, but he's been clutch. That's what Saka's
Mhm.
been, clutch.
Mhm.
There are two
Mhm.
clutch players. Bellingham and Saka are both our
Mm.
clutch players, and that's what
Yes.
people can still keep saying. They're they're they're,
Yes.
they're performing not so great. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Saka the first game was very good, but
Mhm.
throughout he's been all right. But he's not been one of the
Mm.
worst players. He's been one of the better players the whole
Yes.
tournament. The whole
Yes.
tournament. And then
Exactly.
people just don't see it until now that he scored. And then when I've said it to people, oh yes, oh what a game by Saka, what a game. They go, yeah, fair enough, what
Yeah.
a game. But where was he the other games? And I'm like, what are you going on about, mate? Can't you just praise the boy? Why can't you just
Yeah.
praise this man? Please, I just want to. Why can't you just praise him?
It's a
What's
lack of
wrong?
understanding, Jamie, as well on a football level. Because as you
Yeah,
correctly say, if you go back and watch those games, he has tried to do the right thing
he
in
has.
every single game.
Yeah,
He's put in huge amounts of effort. And again, it's concerning that there are England players that seem to be above reproach.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Harry Kane,
and
Phil Foden.
Harry Kane, yes, Harry Kane has been exceptionally poor. Maybe not as poor as Foden, but he's been close to being as
Yeah.
poor as Foden. He's been really bad in this
This is
tournament.
the worst I've ever seen Harry Kane. And
Yeah, you don't see it, do you? You
No,
don't
and
see it. You
the
don't
worst
see
thing is
people
we're
saying
Arsenal
it.
fans, brother, yeah?
Yeah.
And then I'll sit here, and then you've seen me
Mm,
talk. We talked on the pods. I'm like, we can't drop Kane. We can't drop Kane. He scored
yep.
52 goals over.
Yep.
He's the Europe top goal scorer. He's the top goals in
Yep.
Europe. Now I'm at the point where we've got to drop Kane.
We
We've
do.
got to drop
We
Kane.
do.
He looks tired. He
We
looks
do.
like he looks at the moment. He looks like he's 38 years old.
He does. He does. He
He looks
absolutely does, Jamie.
leggy.
He
He
does.
looks he
He
looks like he needs a rest.
he does. And this isn't, I think from Gareth Southgate's perspective, he needs to stop thinking about what players have done in the past and think about the present and the future. And the reality
Yeah,
is, Kane is one of the older England players now. He's above 30 years old. Don't get me wrong, he's still exceptional at what he does, but we've
yeah,
not been playing to his strengths, and he's
we
had a
haven't.
very poor tournament. And
Correct.
as a result, you've got to drop him. It's not about loyalty. It's not about, oh, well, we've got to give him a game because of what he's done. Football doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
Managers that operate like that are simply not ruthless enough.
yeah,
And there's no such thing as being a really nice manager that gets on with everybody. It doesn't work. You've got to be ruthless. This is
yeah.
top level football. You've got to be ruthless. He has to drop him. And for me, it's got to be Ivan Toney. after what
Yeah,
he's done.
yeah, 100%. And I want to touch on one more thing, brother, and then we'll move on over to the Netherlands game.
Yeah.
For all the people that racially abuse, I know I'm going to keep saying it, but the people that racially abuse Saka, Sancho, and Rashford, yeah.
Mm.
What colour of the skin was all them 5 penalty takers? All 5, even Cole Palmer, because Cole Palmer's dad is
Yeah.
from granddad is from St Kitts. Yeah.
Yep.
So every 5 of them players were mixed race or of different origin. But where is it now? Because they've scored. You just don't want to
Yep.
say anything. But if they
Yep.
missed, would you have said something? You probably would have.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shout out to all them lads of African descent, them 5 penalty takers. Obviously, we're English. I'm going to shout out all the English players, yeah. But just because
Mm.
of what happened that last Euros, I want to shout out all them African descent players what scored them 5 penalties. Because I'm with you, boys. I'm with you. I'm
Yes.
completely with you. Completely with
Absolutely.
you. And that's the last thing I'm going to touch on the racial thing. But it was 5 coloured players what took that. That's what it
Absolutely.
was.
Absolutely. And they
Yeah.
could not have taken a better set of penalties. They
Yeah.
showed class,
Hmm.
courage, and immense skill
Yeah.
and dignity, and they were phenomenal. And I
Yeah.
completely endorse your message.
Yeah. And our 3 best players from this tournament, yeah, Guehi,
Yep.
Bukayo Saka,
Yep.
Kobe Mainu.
Yep.
What's the colour of all of their skins?
Absolutely.
There you have it,
Absolutely.
people. There you
There we
have it.
are. Yep.
Don't need to look at them in that way. People don't need to look at the colour of the skin. It's nothing like that. They play for England. They're English. It's as
Yep.
simple as that. Whether they're English or not, it don't make a fucking difference to me. I'm sorry. I'm so
Exactly.
passionate about this, but it don't
And
make a
rightly so.
difference.
And rightly
Yeah,
so. And I'd like to add something that I said earlier to you,
yeah,
Jamie, off camera. It's very important that we say this. There is absolutely no place for any racial abuse. If you racially abuse a player, you are not a football fan. You
no,
have no place going to grounds. You have no place watching football in
yeah,
crowded places. You have no place in football whatsoever.
no, no
If
place in
you are
life,
going,
mate.
you've got no place in life, precisely. If you're going to do that, get out. Just get out. We don't want you. We're
Yeah,
football fans. If you're going to do that, we don't want you. Get out.
you know what?
Get
This is
stuffed.
this is turning very very political, yeah. But
Mm,
I'll give them life sentences. Racial abusing, life sentence. Bye bye. See you later.
mm.
That'll stop it. That'll stop it. Go prison, mate. Go prison. Go have fun. Go have fun with them
Exactly.
lads what are in there. You want to act like a mug? We'll treat you like a mug. It's quite simple. Anyways,
Exactly.
let's move on because it boils
Exactly.
my blood, bro. It boils my blood.
And rightly so. And
Yeah,
rightly so. And what you were saying on your live, you were doing the right thing, and you
yeah,
were blocked for doing the right thing, and that is disgraceful. For
yeah,
that to have happened is disgraceful.
yeah. Stand up to racism, people. Stand up to racism.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up the lineup builder for for our next game. Yeah. So I already know. I don't know if you already know, but there is yeah leak squads of Southgate. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I already know what Southgate squad's going to be. I already know it's been leaked on many sources. Okay. Do we want to
Okay.
go through what
Interesting.
our squad would be, or can you see this on your screen?
I can, Jamie. Yes.
Let me try and zoom out a little bit so we can get because this advert thing at the bottom I can't take away.
Mm,
There we go. Yeah, so you can see this, yeah. So
I
that's the
can. Yes.
formation that he played with last game. We can tweak it and we can move it around. Or we can move these back and forth once we put the players in there. Let's go to this here. It was that what we played with, but obviously these were further back. But once you put the players in there, then we can move them around. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you want me to just go through and tell you what Southgate squad is on here first?
Yeah. I think we should do that, Jamie, so we can
Okay.
compare and contrast.
Okay. So Jordan Pickford. Do you want me just to run through it myself? Yeah.
Yeah. You go for it.
Yeah. Jordan Pickford is in goal. Obviously, people. This is what Gareth Southgate's squad is going to be. Can you see me doing this? Yeah. Let me try and get rid of
I
this.
can. I
Yeah,
can,
there we go.
Jamie.
That's
Yeah.
finally gone away. Yeah, so Jordan Pickford is in goal, boys. Yeah. On the this is what he is doing. Yeah. So Walker is on the other side. We all know when they were every single squad, brother, that's been
Mm,
leaked has been right.
they've
Every
been
single
right.
squad, yeah,
Yeah.
all of them. Even with the three back formation when it was leaked, it was right. So
Yeah.
see here, now we can move this over. Yeah. So that's the three there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a good website to use. So John Stones is in the middle, people.
Yeah.
So John Stones is in the middle. So this is pretty much the only change of the whole squad. Yeah, the next one here. Yep. So Guehi is the only change to come in. for Conte. That's the only change. That is the only change. That's the only change. What are you thinking about that, mate?
Oh, Jamie, just very, very disappointed. Very,
Yeah,
very
that is the that's
disappointed.
people. You can quote me on this because I've seen it. I've seen the league squads. This. I'm just going to pull it all up. So Kobe Mainu in the middle. Let's have a look at the
Mm.
squad. That might be a bit adjacent, but it is what it is. We all know that's a free centre backs. Mainu. And I'll touch on Kobe Mainu while I pull up this squad, brother.
Maybe mainly, yeah, he's been brilliant, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Again, such a young player. I think somebody told me on one of my lives that he's just turned 19 because I thought he was
Mhm.
18, but he's actually 19.
Yeah.
And he's just, I mean, the career he's going to have as well. He's another one. He's going to be absolutely outstanding. The goal he scored for Manchester United in the FA Cup final was possibly one of the best goals I've seen in terms of the move, the finish, everything about that goal. And I think that sort of epitomizes, how good he is. He scored a lot of big goals for them, and I think as well what he's doing in this England side. He looks like he's been in this England side for many, many years, not just a recent addition. Of course, I don't think he'd actually been included in an England squad until the Euros were selected, the squad for the Euros. So I think Kobe Mainoo has got such an incredible career ahead of him, and how high is that bar? I mean, how far can he
Hmm.
go? I mean,
Yeah.
again, I think Manchester United fans will be concerned that they may well lose him to the likes of a Real Madrid
Yeah.
or
Arsenal
a
Football Club.
PSG or Arsenal or Barcelona. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can dream. Hey, we can dream. I mean, what a player that would be
Yeah.
for us as well. But I think he's been just phenomenal. And I think, again, he's another player in that England squad. We've got to be feeling so incredibly grateful to
Grateful
have him.
for. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be, a very key member of that squad in the next World Cup, in the next Euros after this, and for many tournaments to come. So, very, very impressed with him so far. And he does the right things, doesn't he? He moves the ball forward. He always passes the ball forward. And I know that's a very simplistic statement to make, but especially in this sort of England sort of tournament so far, there's been a lot of backwards passing, sideways passing, and Minu does move that ball forward. He's, a progressive player, not a regressive player. And I think, he's been great. I really
Hmm.
like him.
I
Really
completely
like him.
agree. I completely agree. I think Kobe Manu, for that age, do you know what? Do you know who he reminds me of? And I know I've said this a few times now. Jack Wilshere at that age,
Mm,
how he
yeah,
just glides on the ball. He's just phenomenal
yeah,
footballer, absolutely phenomenal
yeah,
footballer. But let's move
yeah.
on over. So, Gareth Southgate's squad is going to be exactly the same as the squad before, except for Guehi comes in for Conta. So we would have Pickford in goal, Walker, Stones, and Conta as the back three. And then Saka as the right wing back, Trippier as the left wing back. I don't know if I say Trippier wrong. People say it's Trippier, but I've heard other commentators say Trippier.
Both, yeah,
Either or either. But yeah,
yeah,
Kobe, whatever you want to say, in the middle with Declan Rice, and then Phil
yeah.
Foden, Philip Foden, Jude Bellingham, and Harold Kane up front. Um, yeah, I'm not happy, but
I'm
I'm going
not.
to support them either way. I will
Yeah,
support them either way, and everyone should. But
yeah.
before we get to supporting them, I do not like. It's a good
No,
lineup. Don't get me wrong. I was happy when he put it out for the last game,
yeah,
but I do think a couple of tweaks should come into this.
yes,
Do you
I
want to
agree.
touch on that's his squad? What you thinking, bro?
I mean, I'm disappointed, and you're going to be correct because the media certainly have somebody in the inside of the camp because they've not been wrong, as you say,
It
throughout
was
the
a
whole
Sky Sports.
tournament. They've
Just
not
let you
been
know,
wrong.
brother.
Yeah,
It was the Sky Sports correspondent from Germany on
yeah,
Sky Sports News talking about it
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, exactly. And they always get it right. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm disappointed with this again. Foden in there. Why? Why?
yeah. Why?
Why doesn't Carlton Palmer get a look in?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly right, bro. Exactly right.
I think he's been so good when he's come onto the pitch. I'm gonna say this now, Jamie, and I don't know whether you'll agree with me or not. We'll go down in this game as well. It's just a case of whether we get back in it, which
Yeah,
we might well do. But I can see us going 1-0 down again in this
yeah,
one. I just don't know why he doesn't start with the team that gets back into it, with the substitutions included that got us back in the game. Again, Kane.
yeah.
Why? Why Foden?
Don't
Why
understand.
Kane? You know,
Yeah,
why not just change it up? But this is the problem. And this is
Yeah,
something that I was trying to say on one of my own lives, Jamie. It's really difficult with Southgate because he is one of the best England managers that we've had in a very, very long time. And I've said many times, you've got to give him his flowers. You've got to give him a lot of respect and a lot of credit for what he's done for England. However,
yeah,
the frustrating thing is he's
yeah.
just so tactically stoic and dull.
He is.
And I
Yeah,
don't know why we have so many options. Ivan Toney, what does he have to do to get a start?
exactly.
Watkins hasn't been used. So
Yeah,
many of these players, we haven't even had a look at Wharton. Wharton's not even
yeah.
been given 5 minutes on the
No,
pitch.
and it's too
You know,
late for him now.
absolutely it is. He won't play.
Far too late.
He won't
He
play.
won't. No.
He won't play. He
Right.
won't play a minute of tournament football.
No, he won't. Are you happy
Mm.
to go through what our lineup would be? Because we already know what Southgate's one is, and then because we're
Yeah.
touching on players that need to come in and come out, it's probably easier going through the squad and saying, "Oh yeah, we can put this person in and put this person out," kind of thing, rather than touching
Yeah.
on it and then having to go back to it to do it again. Do you get what I'm saying?
Let's make our application for the England
Yeah,
manager squad, Jamie.
I'm happy with the. Yeah, we need to make our applications. I'm happy with the 3-2-4-1 again. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Can
I'm
back it.
happy with that. Yeah, so we're
Yep.
just going to go with Pickford in goal. Yeah, we're both in agreement with Pickford in goal. Jordan Pickford. Oh, let's touch on
Absolutely.
Jordan Pickford. Quality the last game.
Oh,
Um,
brilliant.
he was
Brilliant.
brilliant. He's
He
an
was brilliant.
absolute leader on the pitch as well. He's such
Mm,
a leader. I back
mm,
Jordan Pickford. I know he's got these T-Rex arms, what people talk about. I get it, yeah. But Jordan Pickford in them penalties, quality,
he's
absolute
brilliant.
leader on the pitch. He is, ain't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's brilliant. He's brilliant. That penalty save he made. Do you know what, Jamie? I just want to touch on this quickly since we're talking
Go on,
about him. He
go
looked
on.
so confident, didn't he?
He
So
did.
bullish. You look,
Yeah,
take one look at his face, and he's sort of doing all of this, like, yeah, come on then,
yeah,
come on,
yeah,
I've
yeah. He
got
don't
this.
care.
Just,
Yeah.
just brilliant arrogance, and I love
Yeah,
to
I
see
love
it.
it.
I
I love
love
it.
it.
I do. I love it. I love
Absolutely.
it. I love it when they're like that. I love a bit of
It's,
arrogance. You know
it's
that Thierry
great.
Henry arrogance. That's what I loved
Yeah,
it. I loved
yeah.
it.
He never looked affected. He just thought, come
No.
on then, let's do it.
So I've got a question for you here. Yeah. So I
Yes.
pulled up a squad on my TikTok live.
Yeah.
I dropped Kyle Walker, and I don't know if
Yeah.
that's something for you, but Conser was the best defender last game,
Hmm.
and Guehi's been our best defender. Do we drop Kyle Walker or do we keep him in and then take Conser out?
Drop Carl
What
Walker.
do you think?
Drop Carl Walker.
Drop Kyle Walker. I completely agree. I completely agree. So on this side, it would be Guehi.
Yeah,
So we're in agreement with Guehi, ain't we? 100%.
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. England's best player so far at the tournament. And I,
Mm.
I love Bukayo Saka, but I think Guehi has been the best player.
Yeah, he's been brilliant.
Yeah, Bukayo Saka just behind him in second. Right, so we got Stones. Yeah,
Stones, yes,
Stones hasn't been great, but he's integral. You still
that's
need. You can't
exactly the
take him
word.
out.
That's
Yeah,
exactly the word, Jamie. Integral.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're going with Conter, ain't we?
Yes.
I already know the squad that I'd play, and I think you're going to be complete agreement with it anyway. To be honest with
I
you.
think so. I think so. I think we're very similar on our opinions on England lineups.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's there. There we go. Right. Okay. So obviously it's Mainu and Rice. Yeah.
Maynard and Rice,
I don't
definitely.
think we could swap that little that there
No,
is done well.
no
Also, I want to
change.
touch on Declan Rice as well because we haven't touched on Declan Rice as well. Did you
Yes.
know that he's covered the most? He's ran the most at the whole Euros out of every single player. He's ran 63.9 kilometers in 5
Mm,
games. So
mm,
it's average of about 10 miles a game. He's run.
yeah. 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 Declan Rice. So I'm gonna make a interesting analogy for
Yeah. Go
Declan
on.
Rice.
Go on.
So Declan Rice is the kind of guy, when you go on that ship and the ship is sailing,
Yeah.
he's the guy who's doing all of the things you don't see behind the
Yeah.
scenes,
Exactly.
putting, firing up the engines. And he is exactly that for the England team. If you imagine the England team as a cruise liner, then
Yeah.
Declan Rice is the one doing all of the ugly stuff behind the scenes, but is absolutely integral to the side and what we're doing, and we couldn't do it without him. So we need to
Completely
put some
agree.
respect on his name.
Completely agree. I've went ahead and put Saka in anyway because there's no debate there to be had.
We, of course,
Um,
we completely agree.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. There's no debate. We've already touched on Saka
no
quite a
debate.
bit.
No,
So
no.
left wing back. So because I've got to move the position, I have to have the person.
Yeah,
I personally would go with Luke Shaw.
agree, Completely agree, Jamie.
He
Completely
came
agree.
in and changed the game.
He
He
did.
was very, very
He looked
good.
brilliant,
Good.
didn't he?
He looked brilliant.
Yeah,
He
he
looked
did.
brilliant.
He
He looked like
did.
he hadn't missed a game.
He
Luke
really
Shaw,
did.
yeah, Luke Shaw goes at left wing back. So we have, I know Bukayo Saka's at right wing back, but he played the position well, so we can't knock it.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Luke
did.
Shaw
He was
did
very
very,
good.
very well when he came in.
Yeah.
He's very experienced. He would help because Walker, if we took
Yeah.
Walker out, we've added Luke Shaw back in for experience as well. And then we have a left-footed left back instead
Yeah.
of Trippier. But
Yes.
I am going to touch on something that Trippier has created the most chances for England at this Euros with no, was it 7 chances he's created, and Bukayo Saka
Okay.
is in second place with 5.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very
and then
interesting.
Jude Bellingham's in fourth, and then Declan Rice. No, yeah, yeah. So it goes Trippier, it goes Saka, then it goes then it goes Jude, then it goes Declan Rice. They're our top 4 chances creations,
Yeah.
creative
Yeah.
players. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. So me personally in this position here, drop Foden, put in Cole Palmer.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah. I knew you were
Oh,
going to agree on all of these.
oh, you know how I feel about Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer's an absolute baller.
Oh, he's
Best
just
player in the league
brilliant.
last season.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's
Yeah.
absolutely
So
outstanding.
that's the cam position, people. That's cam. So the other cam who could actually he could kind of play.
Mm,
He could kind of play like a kind of an 8 role, maybe. Just yeah, but that's Bellingham. No doubt is there with Bellingham.
absolutely. It has to be Bellingham, doesn't it?
A lot of people were calling for him to be dropped. I was like, no chance. It's not a conversation.
it's just nonsensical, isn't it? Drop him.
Yeah, and he could
No,
play here like this as a false 9.
he could. He could.
And then Palmer can sit here, move around here, boom, boom, boom,
Exactly. Yeah.
sweep up there. Declan Rice can sweep up this side,
Yeah,
mainly this
absolutely.
side. Here, I want Tony.
Completely agree.
I want Ivan Tony from the start. Boom.
Yes.
Harry Kane could come on later on,
Yes.
60th minute, something like that if we're struggling. Ivan
Yes.
Tony in there with Jude Bellingham playing kind of like a false 9.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what I would go with. What's right there?
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what?
That
We cannot have picked a better squad, better 11. It's
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. You happy with that?
Oh, I'm so happy. So happy.
Yeah. The squad's very nice, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. I only
It
wish we were picking the team, Jamie.
Yeah. So you would have literally that squad there. I already put this on my TikTok earlier, about 3 4
Okay.
hours ago. Do you remember I was on the phone to you and I said I'm gonna go do my squad now for my live?
Yes.
That's the squad I picked.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. It's absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant. It's
that's the squad
brilliant.
I picked.
Yeah, it's multi-dimensional because I'm sitting here thinking, why on earth would you not pick that squad?
Yeah,
It is what it is, but
perfect
it's a
squad.
brilliant
Perfect.
squad. Perfect.
Yeah, so we've seen Southgate's one. Basically, what we've done, I've even switched a few things around. The formation's pretty similar, but Jude Bellingham would play as a false 9, where he's not a 10 because he hasn't played too great in the 10 position, but he's playing just behind Ivan Tony to link up with
Yeah.
Ivan Tony, which I
Yeah.
think would work out well. He brings in Cole Palmer when he's got the ball at his feet, Tony would, and then Bellingham can come in behind him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You
I
would,
think it's a
yeah. Yeah,
wonderful
Palmer
squad.
comes in for Phil Foden, who has been England's worst player.
Completely
People.
agree.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, people will. People do know when they come on my TikTok lives, and then they'll go, "Oh, Foden needs to come. Why are you taking Foden out? You're biased and all this." It's nothing to do with that. Yeah,
It's
because
ridiculous.
Palmer is a Chelsea player. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Foden just hasn't been great. Don't get me wrong. We know that Foden will start the next game, and if he scores, I will celebrate like it's any other man. Except for
Exactly.
Bukayo Saka, I celebrate different for
Exactly.
Bukayo Saka just because of the abuse
Exactly.
and stuff. Yeah, but he's an once he's on that team sheet. Once the starting 11 comes out at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, then I
Hmm.
support every single player.
Of
That's the
course.
difference. That's
Of
the
course.
difference between an agenda and biasness
Of course.
than someone who doesn't have one. Because if I had one, I would still not. I'd still abuse him while he was on the pitch. That's the difference. Whereas
Precisely.
as soon as he's got that England shirt on, he's on the pitch. I back him no matter what. As soon as it hits seven
Exactly.
o'clock, as soon
Exactly.
as it hits 7 o'clock, I'm like, yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
Happy
Exactly.
days. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
no matter what, we can't look back now. He's one of our boys. So
Exactly.
yeah, and left back position was Trippier, and we've took him out for Luke Shaw.
Yep.
And then we have took out Kyle Walker, where I can see an argument for Kyle Walker being there. I
Mm.
can see it. But people are saying about Cody Gakpo he's a leading scorer, but he ain't the
Mm.
paciest man in the world. He's not rapid fast, is he, Cody
No,
Gakpo?
he's not. He's not.
Walker's
He's
there
not.
for someone who's got loads of pace. Like
Yeah,
Donyell
exactly.
Marlin, he's got pace. But you're telling me that Guehi hasn't got pace or Contra haven't got pace?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It is
I
what it
think
is.
it's
Kyle
perfect.
Walker's
That's
been poor
perfect.
this whole tournament too.
He has. He's been poor. He has been
I
poor. He
don't know
doesn't
why.
deserve to be starting. He doesn't.
No. And then
Sorry,
people are going to
not
say
for
it's
me.
Man City players and so on. I've literally just said that John Stones is integral.
Exactly. This is the thing, isn't it? The thing is, what
This,
I would say to people watching this is you've got to really think very carefully before you say that somebody's biased. Um, Jamie and myself, we are actually very fair. If you look at this squad carefully and think
yeah,
about who these players play for, we're very, very fair. We are not biased Arsenal fans. In fact, Jamie, I had somebody come on one of my lives the other day. First thing they said, "Oh, you're a biased Arsenal fan." I just said, "You're talking rubbish," because it's complete rubbish.
yeah,
Um, we are going on form. If you don't
yeah,
think we are, go back and watch every game if you've got the time.
yeah,
Go back
exactly.
and watch every game and then come back and tell us what you think.
Brother, if we weren't, Aaron Ramsdale would literally be in goal, wouldn't it? If we
Exactly,
were biased Arsenal fans,
exactly,
Aaron Ramsdale would be the. We're like, nope, Aaron Ramsdale should start.
exactly, exactly,
But he has
exactly,
no right to start. He has no divine
exactly,
right to start. Jordan
exactly
Pickford
right.
starts all day long.
He
But
does. He does.
this is my. I'm wearing an England top. This is my England head on. This ain't my
Yeah,
Arsenal head on. It's different. It's
yeah,
different. Once
exactly.
England go out and play, that's it. It's different. I'm completely honest and real. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I do want. It might sound a bit weird, but it just. I would. I love every single England player, but I would prefer Bukayo Saka to score a goal over the
Yes.
likes of Ivan Toney.
Of course. Yeah.
And
Of
that's just
course.
because I watch Saka week in and week out, and I've seen what's happened to this lad. That's
Yes.
the
Exactly.
difference. And I'd
Exactly.
probably be a little bit more happy if Saka scored, but either way,
Yeah.
I'd be absolutely buzzing
Yeah.
whatever
Exactly.
England player scored. But it
Exactly.
does feel a little bit better when it's Bukayo Saka because of just what's happened to him. Not because he plays
Agree.
for Arsenal Football Club, it's
Agree.
because of what's happened to him. And I just want him to do well because of the abuse. That
Agree.
is the
Agree.
complete difference. We'll
Yeah.
start move.
Exactly that.
We're 50 minutes in, and
Yeah.
I haven't spoken about hitting that free punch combination. So bam, 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 by
Mm,
liking, subscribing, and commenting down below, people. If you're
that's
loving the
right.
content, and remember to put that bell on. Let us know about the new intro as well. Are you
Yeah.
enjoying the new intro? Because
Mm,
I think the new intro looks absolutely spectacular, and that's where I'm going to come in and say thank you so much to Play Up Sky Blues Luke.
yep.
Over on TikTok, everyone go check out PUSB Luke. He does all the filters, he does loads of editing, and he
Yep.
made our intro for us.
Brilliant.
Which,
Absolutely
which,
brilliant.
oh, the intro is absolutely
Phenomenal.
spectacular. Yes, so I'm gonna. There's a lad that asked the question. Let me find his. Let me find his question. He asked me a
Mhm.
question, and I did say that I was going to ask it on the podcast. Remember, I asked you,
Yes.
and I want to shout him out and just. I have so many messages, people. Sorry, his name is can't decide on a username. That's what his name is on TikTok. I'm going to go on his profile.
Mhm.
It's George underscore Bush underscore official. Right. He asked me to ask this question on the pod. So I'm going to ask you, Adam. Yeah. How did you feel when you first saw someone younger than you playing in Europe,
How did I feel when I first saw somebody younger than me
playing at the
playing
top
in
level?
Europe?
Yeah, playing at the top level.
Wow. So I mean, we're going back quite a number of years now, which is crazy to say it, isn't it? But for me, it was just a bit of a moment, a bit of a sort of watershed moment where I thought, wow, it's absolutely crazy because, of course, going back into childhood, these footballers, they seem like, these massive sort of men.
Yeah.
You don't ever think that you're going to get to an age where you're actually older than some of them. And it's just absolutely, it was quite surreal for me. And it was quite surreal when it first got to that point because I started to think to myself, wow, things have really moved on. It was that sort of change, that shift from being a childhood football fan to actually being an adult football fan. But that happened quite early on for me. I remember when I was at college and we were playing Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain,
Yeah.
first broke into the Arsenal side. And
Yeah.
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, I think, was 17 at the time, and that was the same age as me. So AOC, as I also know him. He was 17, and so was I. And I thought, you know, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy that there's a
Yes,
guy
I know.
my age playing, for Arsenal. And I remember he had a really great game. I don't know if anybody will remember this game. Hit us up in the comments if you remember this game. It was Arsenal versus Manchester United. Unfortunately, we lost the game,
Yeah.
2-1.
Don't you mean Kieran Gibbs actually?
No, Chamberlain. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was
You missed
17.
the innuendo there, didn't you?
Go on.
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, the handball, Kieran Gibbs.
Yes, I did. I did. I admit that's poor from me, everybody. That's poor from me. Yeah,
Yeah. Go on,
yeah,
bro. I know
yeah.
exactly what game you were talking about. Carry on.
Did you watch it at the time, Jamie? I didn't watch it at the time. I was away for some reason, I think. But I remember checking the game on my phone, and Van Persie equalised in that game for Arsenal. And I
Yeah.
went and, of course, like every dedicated football fan, actually watched it on Match the Day later.
Yeah.
And Chamberlain was absolutely brilliant. And they showed his highlights package,
Yeah.
and they said it's phenomenal. And I remember Robin van Persie when Wenger took Chamberlain off, just going,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Why are you taking
Yeah.
him off? And I can't remember who he brought on, but anyway, we ended up obviously losing the game. Danny Welbeck scored a late winner.
I think it was Yossi Benayoun brought on.
Yes, that's right. A-star knowledge there, mate.
How is that ball knowledge, mate?
That
Yossi
ball knowledge
Benayoun.
is insane.
Yeah, it was Yossi
Yeah,
Benayoun.
it was. I think you're right. It was Yossi Benayoun who came on, and I remember thinking, it's absolutely crazy that this guy who's just been so electric in this game is the same
Yeah.
age as me. And then I think later on, I found out, I think I'm a bit older than him,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Ca-
So
ca-
he
I-
was younger than me. Absolutely mad, really.
I'm going to touch on the one where I remember. Yeah. So
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
he wasn't exactly younger than me. He was around the same age of me,
Yeah.
age as me,
Hmm.
Jack Wilshere. So
Wilshere.
I
Yeah.
I specifically remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was on Facebook, and this is when he was in the youth squad and he was breaking through. I had him on Facebook, and in his picture he had a grey balaclava on. Yeah, in his picture, Jackie Wilshere had a grey balaclava on. He was only 16, 17 at the time. I think I was 15, 16. He might have been a year older than me. But I used to message him and he replied back to me a couple of times. And it was only when he was in the youth academy, because I used to be that dedicated to Arsenal. I used to watch all the youth and everything as well. So I messaged him
Yeah.
and he messaged me back a couple of times, Jack Wilshere did. This is back in the day,
Wow.
boys. This is like
Yeah.
15, 16 years ago. I was only a kid. And and then I really noticed him that Barcelona game.
He was brilliant,
That's when I
wasn't
really, really noticed him. And I just thought,
he?
wow,
Phenomenal.
wow, this player at this age, I know he's not exactly younger than me, but he was around the same age as me. And that's the first time I ever
Yeah.
noticed someone, because I hit 15, 16. So that's when people are just breaking through. So
Mm.
that's when I kind of first realized, oh, wow, this lad's near enough my age. And that
Mm.
performance is probably the best performance I've ever seen a youngster ever
Outstanding.
make
Outstanding. Absolutely
against,
outstanding. He
yeah.
ran rings around those Barcelona players.
Yeah,
Do you know what,
it was
Jamie?
Xavi and Iniesta as well, that was.
Oh, that was one of my favourite games of all time. If somebody
Mm,
asked me as an Arsenal fan, what are your five favourite games of all time?
that'd
That'd
be in
be
there.
there. Be one or two, probably.
Yeah, yeah,
Certainly be in
definitely.
there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We'll move on over to our score predictions.
Yep.
I am personally going to go. I'm going to go 1-1, and we win on penalties again.
Great prediction. I don't want to do a carbon copy, but actually I would have gone for the same. But just
Or a 2-1 in extra time to England.
yeah, to keep it varied,
Yeah.
because nobody wants me to go for the exact same, do they?
No.
So to keep it varied, I'm actually going to go 2-2 in normal time. And I think there'll be a goal late. I don't know who it will come for, either them or us, but it will be a late goal to take it to extra time. I think more likely it's probably going to be us, to be honest, the way we've been playing, a late equaliser, take it
Yeah.
to extra time, and then another penalty shootout. I can really see it. I really can see it. I can see it just now sitting here.
Yeah.
I think it's
Me
going to
too.
happen. I think it's
Me
going to
too.
happen.
Have we touched on everything that we want to touch on?
Yeah, I think we've covered a huge amount today. Yeah.
I think we have. I think we have. And people, remember. Look on the bottom of the screen now. It says TikTok J Gunner 17, YouTube Jamie Waffles Footy, and it says TikTok AGN Football and YouTube AGN Entertainment. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn that bell on. Bing. That's what I want to hear. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to go quickly. Go do that. Just wait here for 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There you go, people. So go check us out. Go check us out. If you're enjoying the pods, just let us know. Let us know what your team lineup would be. Let us know who you think should come in and come out. You let us know, because we want to hear from you. I will read
Mm.
and I will comment back to every single comment, because this is on my channel, but it's both of our show. This is the Footy Talk show where it's the both of us. It's not just me. It's not just Adam. It's both of us together.
Mm.
And go make sure you go check out AGN Entertainment as well. So this man right here, make sure you go check him out too. But anyway, I've been Jamie Waffles Footy, and formerly known on TikTok as J Gunner 17. Do you want to drop your plugs as well, even though I've just dropped them, brother?
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. I've been AGN Football, as Jamie said, on TikTok, and I'm AGN Entertainment on YouTube. It's been another really great show, if I don't say so myself.
It has.
Absolute pleasure doing these Footy Talk show with you, Jamie,
Yep.
and just echo your sentiments. Go and check out both of us,
Yep.
and thank you so much for watching.
Yep. The one last thing that I always touch on, people, mental
Mm,
health awareness. Please check in on someone today, whether it's a friend, loved one, a colleague, whoever. If you sat on the bus and public transport with your headphones in listening to my voice here, Jamie Waffles Footy, then just check in on the person next to you. Take your headphone out, check in on them today, because people are struggling out there, and mental health is ultimately a killer sometimes, and that's what it is. Especially in men, men are taught not to stand. They're taught to just stand up. Oh yeah, take it because you're a man. Grow some balls and stuff like that. Where it isn't like that no more. People, you can. My inboxes are always open. Adam's inboxes are always open. We're always here for a DM. If you're struggling and you're down, don't be scared or threatened to message me, because I'm always here for
absolutely,
every single one of you. You support me, I support you. It's as simple as that. It really is as simple
absolutely.
as that. It's been an absolute pleasure, per usual. I hope you all enjoy yourself. Peace, love, and goodbye.